begins tonight.
Exactly. So this is Tom Morello. You know him from Rage Against the Machine. You know him from Night Watchman. He's a rock god. But that's not what we're here to talk about today. We're talking about him as an author, right? And the way that his artistic ability, his social activism, all influences this extraordinary new book that he's doing called Orchid.
I wanted to combine the epic storytelling, the scary monsters, the desperate escapes of some of my favorite fantasy adventures like Star Wars and Lord of the Rings, but infuse it with a class consciousness, something that I've always thought was woefully missing from that genre. And a good friend of mine, Gerard Way, who writes the Umbrella Academy, and he's a rocker as well, the singer of My Chemical Romance. He built a bridge between myself and Dark Horse, and the book is coming out on Dark Horse. And it's the short version is it's Star Wars meets Battle of Algiers. It's got the protagonist is a 16-year-old street prostitute who becomes the Spartacus of whores, and it's set in a dystopian future where humans are no longer at the top of the food chain, and where there are no longer the haves and the have-nots, the have-everythings and the have-nothings. And in this world, the young Orchid, who has the word property tattooed on her neck and the words "know your role" branded on her arm, has to find where her fate lies.
I couldn't be more excited about it. Now you've got 4 issues out, which is fantastic.
It's a 12-issue series.
Great.
12-issue series. And one unique content of the book is that I've written musical score for each of the comics. So when you get the comic, there's a free download code in the back of it. So I've done a lot of film scoring, so I've tried to use those, incorporate those skills in the world of comics. So you get the comic book, you get to, it creates both a visual world, a world of words, and also a musical world as well.
That's extraordinary. So when is the Orchid Opera?
We're looking for a big Broadway opening. Summer
of
2017.
I'm just saying, you got the music, you got the pictures.
Yeah.
There's some words too.
Yeah.
Hey.
It's sort of like La Boheme with Marshall Stacks. I approach this in the way that I've approached both my guitar playing and my career as a musician, but there's no real rules. Like I was a huge comic book collector as a kid, but I put comic books down when I discovered the electric guitar, and the escapist nature of that work was something that I loved until I was about 16 years old. Then I became politicized as well, and it didn't really Hulk pounding on the floor didn't speak to me the way that it once did. And so, but comic books have come a long way in that term, and now there's no subject matter, there's no philosophical or emotional content that you can't deal with in comic books now. And so I thought it was the right canvas for Orchid.
Is trying to do a Woodstock moment for the Occupy movement, is that an inevitable idea? Is that a cornball idea? I mean, how does this genuine grassroots movement get expressed artistically?
Yeah, I mean, it's a movement that I don't think, it's not waiting for, nor does it require superstars to lend a hand,
Exactly.
It's a movement that already has a vibrant soundtrack made up of the people who are part of the movement. I've played at about a dozen of the different Occupied places, from Canada through the US and the UK as well, and around every one of those campfires there's a lot of great songwriters singing songs about the 99%. Some superstar, from myself to Miley Cyrus have also weighed in musically, but it's a movement that's not waiting for that. And I'm certain over the course of 2012 there's going to be a number of musical projects by well-known people who are pitching in, and that is fantastic, and that is a great thing. But there's something unique about this, that it really is from the ground up. The Occupy movement is about inverting the pyramid. It's not a pyramid that's led by...
No. No, in fact, to me, I go, wow. I think one of the reasons why the music in the 60s and 70s is so great is because artists were being challenged by the times as opposed to being thrust in some leadership position that they're not qualified for or fully understand. The Occupy movement feels like, hopefully, a return to that era.
Yeah. Well, it's definitely changed the dialogue internationally, and that the dirty 5-letter word class is now something that's on the front of the New York Times every day.
Absolutely.
And that's the torpedoing of the global economy by the corporate malfeasance, which has been wholly unaccountable and unpunished, something that people take personally because they're being foreclosed on. It's not the kind of thing where you're like, oh, that's an awful thing those people are doing. No, it's hurting. It's everybody.
I don't have a job.
Yeah,
right.
Yeah,
exactly.
Exactly.
Beautiful, man. Thank you so
My
much.
pleasure. Thank you for having me. Nice
Take
being on
care.
Reggie's World.
Reggie's World. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah.